Yeah, I just want to start by wishing our soccer team the best tonight as they open tournament play, Coach Lakely, and just wish them well and another run for a championship. So proud of those guys. Questions?
Matthew.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm okay. Monday, you talked about trying to fix the communication issues and the stuff you guys had on defense from this past week. Without giving away too much, kind of how'd you guys go about doing this week, and how do you feel like where you guys are at going into this game on Saturday with that?
Yeah, just really made it a focus of just all the different things that happen with movement and making sure the right guys are on there and making some adjustments, even some personnel a little bit, but more than anything, just repping out and building a game plan around a lot of simplicity, so our guys can have some carryover and just worked at it really hard starting on Sunday afternoon and then even as we just left the field today. So constant work on that in pre-practice, post-practice, just making sure we got it flushed out.
Zach and Jim.
We asked this about quarterbacks, but I guess I was curious with Donovan, these last 3-4 weeks, it feels like he's kind of going up a level in terms of maybe understanding, where he can get his yards and how he can kind of create advantages over corners. I mean, what sort of things do you start putting on a receiver when maybe you can see they are ready for a little bit more, whatever that might be?
Yeah, I think there's just a consistency in everything that you do. That you just continue to add an emphasis on the details. You don't want there to be any level of complacency or letting up, when people start patting you on the back and telling you how awesome you're doing. I think that's a key thing mentally. And also it's just about challenging him to be able to stay at that level, and that becomes the expectation. And not that you just rise up there at times. You establish that as a new level of this is where you're going to play. And you don't accept anything less than that in practice or in what he does on game day. So just really proud of him. He's worked extremely hard, and but just going to continue. I think just the attention to detail and getting off of press or getting separation and your releases and then finishing out routes and just making sure. And Coach Tuck does a really good job of teaching those details. So I just think it's just increased attention to detail and a heightened sense of, okay, this is what you put out there. Now this is how you're known, and we want that to be the expectation for how you play every time you take the field.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good, sir. A great offensive performance last week. The offense kept responding when they needed to. Defensively, obviously, was a point of contention for you. How do you, with bowl eligibility no longer on the line, I know that these are 2 trophy games coming up, but how do you get and keep the guys up mentally after that letdown of being eliminated from bowl eligibility?
Yeah, it's a tremendous challenge, without question. I think that we talked about it on Sunday, right out of the gate, just because it's reality, and I try to deal in reality and try to help the guys work through that. But the approach is, as I said to them, when you think about how you want to live your life, how you want to be as an individual player, how you want your team to be built, in regards to that the outside circumstances don't dictate my focus, they don't dictate my effort, they don't dictate my preparation. It's easy to say that. And when you're playing for something, there's added motivation. There's no question that brings. And so you got to be able to, with maybe one of those variables removed, who are you? How do you prepare? How are you going to play as an individual and as a team? And so to me, that's really appealing to that, because you're trying to build habits in their life that will stay with them no matter what. And if you want to be great in this life, in anything that you do, there's a consistency that has to be there. There's a consistency in your preparation, consistency in how you perform, consistency in how you think and how you act and how you play, how hard you do things, the effort you give, all things that you control. So, yeah, it is very challenging. It's easy to say all those things. And at the end of the day, you got to be able to connect with your guys. So capturing their hearts and their minds is part of it. Our coach is doing that. Our leaders doing that. You really appeal to your leadership guys as well, and to them to be able to. And also, we know what we're playing for in regards to these 2 trophy games that are coming up. But right now, the whole focus is on the brass platoon and keeping that in Bloomington. It hadn't happened very often where we've kept it, in back-to-back years. Matter of fact, it hadn't happened in 54 years, and so our guys understand what we're playing for. But yeah, it's just a lot of just just connecting with our guys, and the consistent message of the preparation, the performance, the how you do things is not based on outside circumstances.
Daniel, then Zach Brown.
Yeah, Coach, on Monday, I asked you about ACE, kind of on more of a broader scale of this year's senior class. How do you kind of evaluate the impact that they had on your program when I'm sure the last 3 years on field-wise probably hasn't gone as you would have hoped?
Yeah, there's no question. Definitely has not. And but I think they've guys have added so much to our program, too much to each one of those teams. Special groups of individuals, special relationships, and then just continuing to build the infrastructure. What you're doing, obviously there's been challenges without question, and these guys have been able to grow through it all and to give us a lot, give us their hearts, give us their bodies, all the effort, all the the sacrifices they've made to allow themselves and our team to be in the positions we've been in. So appreciate this senior class, special group of guys, a special relationship have been formed with them that'll be lifelong relationships, both with myself and with their coaches and their teammates. And so every group's a different group. Every year's a different year. And this group here we want to send off in the right way on Saturday.
Zach Browning, and then we'll wrap with Pete.
Hey, Coach. I just wanted to ask, what are you expecting and what are you hoping to see from your defense throughout the final 2 weeks of the season?
Well, a strong response. We feel like we got a whole lot to prove right now because of how we performed this last week. So I expect them to bounce back. I expect us to play better. We got to, we really do a great job stopping the run, and then we got to do a much better job in our secondary, and that's just the whole defense. It's not just the DBs. That's the defensive line getting pressure. It's our linebackers getting pressure and coverage in it well. And communication, so just to me, just consistent communication, tackling well, and creating takeaways. That's my expectation.
All right, Pete, last one.
Hey, Tom, I'm wondering with Spittoon Week, have you done anything special this week in terms of speakers or anything maybe, a little different than you normally would for a regular week?
Well, we do added videos in regards to, went through last year's game, actually did that this morning and kind of, I narrated it, with a lot of different plays from start to finish and just talking about the effort, the toughness, the fight, guys that were playing in that game that weren't even expected to play, guys are battling injury, guys had to move positions, the conditions, all the things that came to it being behind different. So used that at length. Started the week, had Coach Deal as he gives a special presentation to our team about the history of the brass platoon and understanding we got 51 new guys that weren't on this team last year on our team, and so just them understanding how important it is and give them a history lesson really per se, and they're going to do that again tomorrow with both a video and then have one of our alumni speak. So just trying to go through and use as many avenues and vehicles as we can to help educate our guys to understand how more important this game is, what they're playing for, and obviously how important it is to keep that brass platoon here in Bloomington. Appreciate you guys.
All right, thanks.
Have a great day. Elio.